UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast, here on the United Federation of Podcast Network. I'm your host today, Chrissie De Clerck-Szilagyi, and joining me are my co-hosts, Brandon Shemutala and Justin Oser. Brandon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. I got to tell you, man, this ice cream is just delicious. I absolutely love Spumona. You know, honestly, Chris, I think I should know what Spumona is. What is Spumoni? What is it?
I should
Spumoni.
know.
It's made out
What
of
is it?
something.
I don't even know what it is. You know, something? I don't know.
We'll ask the Google machine, but in the meantime, Justin, how are you doing?
Espresso, I release you. That is my message for today. Even though I don't drink coffee, I love that line. So happy to be talking about the thing that we're both referencing right now, which will be really fun to talk about since first saw it a couple years ago.
Okay, dude, like what? No coffee, no meat,
That's correct.
right? Like, what else? Like,
I don't have dairy or eggs.
no alcohol.
Oh, you're full vegan now.
No alcohol.
No
Oh, my
alcohol.
goodness.
I don't
Alright.
drink soda. I know.
Oh my
What do
goodness.
I eat? That's a whole other topic. But
You're going to live to be 200.
Maybe. By the way, Spumoni, according to Wikipedia, is a molded gelato, which is a lower-fat Italian form of ice cream made with layers of different colors and flavors, usually containing candied fruits and nuts. Yum.
That sounds awful.
Cherry, pistachio, and then either chocolate or vanilla are the typical flavors.
I remember.
At least there's no
the thing
raisins.
Yeah. I remember when the thing we're talking about came out, people were like, ew, Spumoni, because I think a lot of people don't like it. But it
Pistachio,
exists.
I think, is a niche flavor.
Pistachio ice cream is really good. Like, you can get pistachio ice cream by itself, and it's green. I don't know why it's green, but, I mean, like...
Because
pistachios
pistachios
are
are green?
Not really.
Yeah,
They're not really green. I don't know.
When you peel off the outside, they're green inside.
Yeah.
What
They
color
really are.
pistachios are you
They're like a
eating?
yellowish brown when they're roasted. That's when I eat, like, when I eat them, they're roasted, right? So, like a yellowish
Oh,
brown.
but when you're talking about them raw,
Okay.
they're green inside.
Who eats them raw?
Well, listeners, this has been fascinating. Actually,
You
now
can get
you know
them
what
dyed
Spumoni ice cream
red.
is.
When I
so
was a
yay.
kid in Canada, you can get them like dyed red, and so like that's I thought what they were. They were red, right? And then you'd get like all this red stuff on your fingers. But I just eat the my favorite. They're Planters salt and pepper pistachios. Oh my goodness, they're
that's
so good.
The reason they aren't dyed red anymore is because the red ones were very particularly ones coming out of, I think, either Iran or Pakistan.
Okay.
Oh.
And so it was an identifier because of importation laws and stuff. And so now they're all just, they don't have to dye them.
That's like like look, we're going
Probably 'cause
way
the
on
dye
a
was
food
bad for you.
tangent here, but that's like margarine.
Yeah.
You know, margarine was in Canada at least, like it's dyed yellow, but in Quebec you can't use the dye in it. So it's its natural color of white. Like margarine is actually white when you make it, and it's a law in Quebec because they're like there's these crazy butter wars or whatever that goes on in Quebec. They're trying to like end the margarine business. So there's like a law so that people can differentiate that margarine is not butter. And so margarine, when you get it, it's just white and it literally looks like lard or whatever, right? So, but yeah. Anyways,
Yeah. Well, I think the French probably think that margarine is an anathema. So, you know, why would you do that?
Brandon's Food Corner.
There you go.
Yeah, we should do that every time going forward when we have new episodes and there's food in the episode. You should talk about it.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
move
I'm
on
down
to
for
Star
that.
Trek. Nobody wants to talk about margarine. Who wants to talk about margarine?
All right. Well, right. Spumoni ice cream, because we're talking about the Short Treks episode Runaway. And that is when one of our characters gets to taste Spumoni ice cream for the first time. So, yeah, I'm bring it back all around.
I was really disappointed at the lack of Del Shannon in this episode.
Yeah. I can see that. Or Tom Petty.
Yeah, that too.
That I got.
Just to,
Okay.
Like the Tom Petty reference I got, the Del Shannon one, maybe not so much.
The only reason I know the Del Shannon one is because it's referenced in a Bare Naked Ladies song.
Got it. I got it now. I probably knew that. Moving on.
So, news.
Oh, yes, news.
Yes.
Right.
I'm sorry. I've just derailed this, guys. This is all me.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. It's wonderful. Okay, so in news, we have two pieces of news. The first is that we have announcements for cast members of Strange New Worlds. We don't know who they're playing yet, but we do have the list, right? And it looks like a very interesting group of people. I love how diverse it is, and some of these actors have some very good bona fides. So I'm looking forward to this. Mm. So Brandon, I hear you have the list in front of you.
Yeah, so some of the names that were announced, we've got Babs Olason-Mokan, who was in Black Mirror and Dune, and I'm guessing that's probably the upcoming Dune. We got this from the blog at TrekCore, the TrekCore articles. So they don't say which Black Mirror they were in, which Black Mirror episode. I have seen all the Black Mirror episodes, but I've only seen them all once. We've got Christina Chong, who was in Tom and Jerry and Black Mirror. Celia Rose Gooding from Jagged Little Pill. Jess Bush from Skinford and Les Norton. And Melissa Navia from Dietland and Billions. So these people will be joining as series regulars. And what we got was a teaser video, which had all these cast members, and they were doing like the Space, the Final Frontier thing, and Anson Mount had tears in his eyes when he did it, which is pretty
looks
cool.
So
yeah,
happy.
He's pretty excited.
It's just so wonderful.
I think playing Pike has been like his dream come true. So to have it as a series, I think is even more so. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's nice to get this list of actors. And I always get excited when there's a casting announcement for a new Star Trek series, because I think like it won't be too long, because they're filming this thing, that we'll see who their characters are. We'll get to know more about the people. They'll be part of the Star Trek universe. And like, because I feel like the people who have been part of Discovery and Picard and Lower Decks, now we know more who they are, and and they're part of this whole family. So I just love that. It was wonderful to see that, and that they're shooting, and I'm guessing the show will be out next year. So we have that to look forward to. Mm-hmm. Yes, but it's good
for sure. I'm hoping we see some of the characters come back from the cage.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see the character of Jose Tyler come back, and I said this back in season 1 of Discovery, right? I want just a throwaway line about him talking about his cousin or whatever from like Washington, Ash Tyler, right? I would just love that to be a throwaway line that Jose Tyler's related to the real Ash Tyler. That would be really cool.
Deep cut.
For sure. Yeah, it would be great to have some of those characters. I mean, of course, we have 3 characters from the cage, and Spock and Pike and number 1. But besides that, it would be nice to have some other characters. It would be nice also maybe to have a few people that were on the Enterprise bridge in Discovery Season 2, like Lieutenant Amin, and maybe a few other people. It would just be nice to kind of fill that out. But we'll see. I think I've made the assumption that Strange New Worlds takes place shortly after Discovery Season 2, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's a little further forward. Who knows? Maybe it's a little further back.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did assume it would just be picking up from where we left Pike, but it's entirely possible that it's going to be leading into the cage.
Could be.
Maybe.
But I would doubt that.
That's pretty far back.
Yeah.
Only 3 years.
Yeah, it could be, I guess.
4 years, that's true.
The cage is 3 years, so it'd be prior to that.
I doubt that it would take place before Season 2 of Discovery, because then that would contradict with the Enterprise War. Good point. I doubt that they would do that at this early stage of the game, but I mean, we might see, though, for characters, we might see the captain from the Tribbles short, and we might see the engineer and student from Ask Not. I don't know all the names, but
that's true.
We may see those characters pop up at some point. So.
Yeah, but we'll see. I was thinking more that instead of right after Discovery, maybe it would be 1, 2, 3 years after or something. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah,
but it's exciting. It's happening.
Mm-hmm. Then we've got what? We'd have a decade, 9 years before Kirk.
Not quite. I mean, I think for Discovery Season 2, left off at 2258, and I think Pike hands over to Kirk in 2265.
I think it's 2264. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so 6-ish years, but there's a good amount of time there.
That's a solid 6-7 season run.
8 seasons of it's in stone. It's in stone. It's happening.
It works.
Let's do that, and every season is 6 months.
And then the last episode is Kirk taking over the ship. What do you think?
It's possible. Yeah.
All I'm going to say is, in the books, Montgomery Scott was on this Enterprise as well. We had that one book, I think it was Vulcan's Glory or something like that.
Vulcan's Glory,
and where he's like making booze in the engineering there.
I really don't like that part of the book. We're speaking booze and engineering, but that's a whole other thing. Because I don't know, he just comes across in that book as somebody that is so much more interested in alcohol than engineering. And yes, he's interested in alcohol in the original series and all that, but not this much. But that's
and food in the Kelvin timeline. So he's got it covered. Like a sandwich, right? And then of course that's how Tilly knows how to do that long distance beaming to get Poe back home, right?
Oh, we'll talk about that because
we'll get to that. I know. I'm just making the connections. All right, so really looking forward to finding out who these people are going to be playing. The other piece of news we have is that the History Channel is going to be airing an 8-part documentary series on Star Trek for the 55th anniversary. And it's being put together by the people who did The Toys Who Made Us and, what's the other one?
The Toys That Made Us?
The Toys That Made Us, and then there was the other.
I'm not sure what else they've done, but that's the one I know.
Yeah, it was something else that made us.
I only watched the Star Trek Toys That Made Us. So
I did too, and I really enjoyed that one. That one was fun. But yeah, this is. I think this is really exciting that they're going to do something in depth, like an 8-part series, and I think it even mentions that they'll talk about things like Phase 2 and stuff like that. So I think it'll be really cool just to see them go in depth and see how they cover it, because 8 parts, there's a lot you can cover. So
right. So right now the title we have is The Center Seat. Not bad. Focus on the captains a little bit, maybe.
Or maybe putting the viewer in the center seat of the whole journey.
Yeah, could be.
That's better. Mm-hmm. That makes more sense. Okay.
Because I think I mean I don't know what it'll be, but I think if it's that long, it'll focus on on Roddenberry and writers and directors and producers and the arc of the different shows, and I mean I think it's probably going to be a lot of stuff. I just want one part that's all about the novels. Let's have that. I kind of doubt
it. Yeah.
I doubt it highly, but at least a glancing reference to the novels would be cool.
I wonder if...
they should talk about it, yeah, because that's a huge part of it.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they will have anything from... what's his name? The guy that wrote These Are the Voyages, the 3 novels, and then they've expanded on them now. Mark Cushman, yeah.
Mark Cushman.
I wonder if there's any involvement from him. So, because I know that his books have been kind of controversial in fandom. Like, they're very detailed, and there's a lot of really good information. But apparently, there's a lot of blatant mistakes in the book. So,
I've heard all kinds of things about those. But this also made me think about the 50-year mission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that too, yeah.
What Mark Altman and a few other people have done, which had direct quotes. I'm assuming a lot of it's accurate, but I don't know. That one, I read the I think it was like the second 25-year one that was about TNG and later stuff, and that one was really interesting. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of material for them to take from. I think it'll probably be just narrowing it down because there's a huge amount of Star Trek stuff. So
yeah,
but I'm looking forward to that and the 8 hours of podcast where we'll talk about this, right, guys? Possibly not.
I have to assume that those 8 parts are going to be 2 hours apiece. So that's
Oh, I was assuming an hour.
Probably an hour. I would say an hour.
Yeah, I would say an hour.
History Channel specials are usually 2 hours.
Are they?
Are they really?
I don't have History Channel.
Even multi-part ones. Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
we'll see. Okay, 16 hours. No, it's probably going to drop. Like if it's with the 55th anniversary, it might drop in September along with that. And if it does,
we're in trouble.
I think it's likely we'll be in the middle of covering new Trek every week. So we'll just have a 5-minute segment every week on each part or something. I don't know.
We'll just we'll take a week off
But it's exciting that they're doing this. I think this has to do with the merged Viacom CBS trying to do all kinds of different stuff to get Star Trek out there. This is probably one of them. So that's very cool.
Although History is not owned by either of those companies, which is interesting. So
that's not, but
it's Discovery Networks, I think. Well, the one thing, the center seat thing immediately made me think of Captains because of how much Shatner's doing on the History Channel now. So that was where I had gone with that.
Is he doing a lot
Your center
there?
seat of the viewer is much better. Yeah, he's got a show called The Unexplained Files, which is like Ancient Aliens, but more recent.
Oh, your favorite thing to poke holes in.
And then they had him on an episode, a 2-hour special episode of Ancient Aliens, where they were explaining to him, like they were trying to convince him. They were all sitting around a table, and that was crazy. I live tweeted it, actually, on Justin's suggestion. It was a few months ago. You can go back and look. But I'm really hoping... See, here's the thing. Star Trek and the whole Ancient Alien thing have a bit of a connection, because within the Star Trek world, mythos, whatever you want to call it, there is an established ancient alien that existed that was doing a lot of these things that come in with the ancient alien theory.
Mm-hmm. Well, we kind of have several of them, right?
The Preservers, the ones from the Chase.
Preservers.
Yeah.
There's ones from the Chase, and then the ones from the Voyager episode, Tattoo.
Yeah, them too, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also...
And whoever took the dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs from Voyager.
And Enterprise's North Star, where they took some people from the 19th century, and then there's the 37s, where they took people from 1937. I mean, it actually happens quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, like, I there's like part of me that kind of hopes that they talk about it because it's the History Channel, so they could, and they do like to cross promote their stuff. Okay.
Star Trek says that Ancient Aliens is true.
I don't want that. I don't want that. But there is even an episode of Ancient Aliens where they talked about the ridiculous idea that Roddenberry was being fed information by the Majestic 12 group in order to produce Star Trek to create, to prepare the population for the idea of alien contact.
There
you mean he wasn't working with the real Vulcans like I thought?
Oh, I know. The real Federation, all of that. So, like...
It'll be revealed to us magically in 2063.
There we go. I want it, but I don't. But I do. I would love to see them talk about that. But give me a 5-minute, you know.
It is fascinating that Star Trek has dipped into that kind of ancient aliens well so much that they've had this impact on Earth like multiple times and on other civilizations and stuff. So anyway.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Chrissy. If the History Channel then says Ancient Aliens is true because of Star Trek says it's true, would you then need to change your podcast to be Ancient Aliens is BS?
Well, there is a way out of it, because you could say that maybe Ancient Aliens is true in the timeline of Star Trek, but we clearly live in a different timeline because we don't have a Millennium Gate.
There you go. And the Third World War and all of that. Although you never know, we might still get that.
It's just been
delayed.
But the
Millennium
Gate didn't happen in the 90s.
But I feel the Millennium Gate from 1159 in Voyager is the one proof positive thing that Star Trek is not in our timeline.
Okay.
Because we have no Millennium Gate.
Yeah,
anyway.
That and the lack of sophistication of the computers in Future's End 4 years from now. So, or excuse me, not Future's End.
Oh, right.
Past tense.
Past tense.
Yes.
They clearly have like an alternate universe internet. But anyway.
That's still running on AOL, apparently. So Ancient Aliens, still bullshit in this timeline. So that's all the news we have for right now, but I feel like we're kind of ramping up. We're going to be getting more news here.
Going to be drinking from the fire hose pretty soon.
Yeah, and it's going to be good. So getting back to our topic at hand, we are going to be talking about the short track Runaway. That's our first short track. It was the Tilly-centered one. It was the one where we met Poe, and one that I like. I very much enjoyed it. I liked it better after we saw the connections in season 2, because everything pulled together better. What did you guys think, Brandon?
Well, I enjoyed the episode, like, for what it was when it originally came out. I thought it was a lot of fun. This was right before we got into season 2, and this is right on the tail end of the last 2 episodes when I'm like, okay, I really hope they don't go comedic with Tilly, and they really kind of double down on it in this one here. So the moments when she's being serious with Poe, I really like. But the one-off lines that she just throws out are the part that I don't like. Like this is the Tilly that I don't like the hormonal rabbit and like those kinds of comments and stuff like that. Like I just don't like that. I don't appreciate it. And kind of her initial interaction with Poe, where she's like yelling at her and then being like, "Did you make this with the ice cream in your room?" No, because you didn't know what that was. Like that attitude and stuff too. Like if I knew somebody like that who was like that, I wouldn't want to hang out with them and I wouldn't want to be friends with them. Like I would avoid that person, like that's not an endearing personality trait to me. But I can appreciate the story that they're trying to tie it in together between like these two intelligent women who are, one doesn't really want to be the queen and, one doesn't want to be what her mother wants her to be. They kind of both are trying to find their own path. So, I appreciated that parallel story that's going on there. So.
Yeah. Yes. The rabbit thing is stupid.
I love it. We'll talk about my thoughts then.
That was going to be next.
So when this first came out, it was sometime between seasons 1 and 2 of Discovery. And I loved it. I love Tilly as a character. Unlike you, Brandon, I love the comedic side of Tilly. I feel like that is a side of her that is a part of this kind of three-dimensional character. I do love the parts where they're kind of trying to work out things together in terms of where they're going in their lives and what they need to do. I thought it was beautifully done for this short episode. I loved it when it came out. Just rewatched it a few days ago, and I loved it too. I think that there's a lot of really good stuff going on in this, and of course, as you mentioned, Chrissy, there is the connection to the season 2 finale when Poe comes back and helps Discovery with what they need to go to the future, which I love. I really like Poe as a character because I think she's kind of an interesting mix of somebody who's kind of young and trying to find their way, with brilliant engineer, with someone who, I don't know, just at the same time is not sure how open she can be. I really like both of the characters and a lot of what's going on. So for me, it's not quite my favorite short trek, but I do love it a lot. And when I watched it a few days ago, I just had a lot of fun with it, and I thought it had a really good message as well. So
yeah, it's certainly enjoyable. I like it better than Calypso, but we'll talk about that for next week.
You like it better than Calypso? My
That's
goodness.
just bonkers. That's just bonkers.
That's no. Wait, you can have your opinion. We'll talk about that next time.
Yes, I can.
So
yes, and we will.
Let me ask you this question about Poe here. So one of the things that doesn't work for me in this episode is like this: when we initially are introduced to her, she's portrayed as this like animalistic. I believe the word, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, is feral. Is that right? Feral?
Yeah. She seems kind of like a fierce animal a little bit.
Right.
Yes.
Right? And to me, that seems contradictory to an established society that's like developing warp travel and like has a monarchy and whatnot. Like it seems like this animalistic introduction doesn't fit for the character, and then it's never comes back. Like this invisible thing that she has, we don't see later on as well. The spikes on her back and whatnot. Like it's almost like they're portraying her that it's a surprise that she's intelligent.
Yes, that bothers me too.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because the way that I think about it is that so Poe is in this situation where she feels really threatened, and it brings out kind of these fierce instincts. And I think that, as human beings, we don't have like spikes on our back or some of those kinds of things, but there are ways in which people put into certain circumstances can come across as very fierce, and we would say almost like animalistic in their reactions. So I see that as part of what's going on here. Now, I think it is an interesting choice that then when Tilly gets out the translator, Poe just sounds like someone who might be human, right? There isn't something that's different or alien about how it interprets the speech. But I actually really liked that and thought it was something that was unexpected and something that was different. And that worked for me, that in that situation, that's the side of her that was coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this whole episode, because they didn't
that.
portray her language properly in the thing, it's all shale. It's all shale.
Piles of it.
Oh, yeah. I like that episode.
Me too.
Yeah, I did too, because I had the note too of why is she presented as so animalistic at the beginning, and I think it's meant to create, that dichotomy of going from something that's working, someone, that's working apparently from instinct to somebody who can recrystallize dilithium. But it doesn't feel right. I don't know.
It works for me.
Yeah. Maybe we'll find out more later. I mean, they could be part of the what's left of the Federation in season 3, season 4. So we might run into them again and find out.
Who says that the Enterprise and Strange New Worlds won't go to Zahia at some point?
Oh, good point. Yeah.
That could be interesting.
I think I mentioned it on the podcast. I was actually really hoping that they would have had some type of callback for season 3 of Discovery, and that would have been like some element that they would have brought in to bring back dilithium to the future. Let's go to Zahia or something like that. I don't know how they would have done it, but I just think that would have been a neat connection.
Well, the only connection was in the season 3 finale when they went to the ship, and with the holographic environment, they showed Adira as a Zahian. That was the only connection in season 3 that I had a note of. But yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing. Like, as we think back now, knowing about season 2 and season 3 going so far into the future, there's so many things, even just that Discovery created, they can go back to, and it'll be interesting to see if in the coming seasons they do that. Maybe in season 4 they'll go to Zahia and see what it's like. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
So that actually brings me to something that I had a note here. Tilly's mother is terrible, right? I mean, but she's played to be terrible. You are supposed to look at her and go, "Oh no, I cannot deal with this person."
And this was before The Way to the Stars, which was about Tilly and her relationship with her mother earlier on, right?
Not too far ahead of it, if it was.
Not too far ahead of it,
but pretty close.
But like, I thought about that because I love The Way to the Stars as a novel. It's one of my favorite.
Me too. Yeah.
Star Trek novels, really. But it goes a little bit more into that relationship and what drives her mother and all of that. But in this, you just get to see like a really kind of short reaction where the mother just kind of doesn't understand and is just like, doesn't seem to care. It's that little slice. I feel like the mother is a little bit more sympathetic in a novel, but I think that's natural because you get to see more of them, right?
You have more of her reasoning, yeah. Well, bringing this back to talking about the established stories going into future seasons, we haven't had an opportunity to see the crew grieve over the deaths that have inherently happened because they've jumped so far. And I think it could be a very interesting story to have Tilly trying to reconcile the conflict she had with her mother and the fact that she's not able to reconcile.
I think there was
or deal with that.
There was a brief scene early in season 3, I think, when Tilly was talking to Burnham in a corridor and wasn't she saying something about never being able to see her mother? But it was only like a little bit. Yeah. They haven't completely dealt with it, but I think they did a little bit. Yeah. They
touched on it, but everything going on was keeping everybody at a high stress level. So it's one of those, like, we'll deal with the other stuff later. And
yeah, it'll be interesting in season 4 if, there will be the approach for it to be maybe even more episodic, and they have certain missions that they're going on, and, as part of that or on the way or something, they deal with some of these things. Be interesting to see, but I think it's cool to watch this one now that it was a couple years back and a couple seasons back, and just think about some things they still haven't touched on or how it informs how we think about them. Because like Tilly in this episode in Runaway, she's just thinking about going into the command training program. She's just been promoted to ensign, and now like thinking about season 3, she's been the first officer and been through like all of this stuff. And I think her character's kind of move forward somewhat from that in her experience. So it's cool just to go back. I've been rewatching Discovery from the beginning, and there's quite a bit of change in a lot of the characters from what they were in season 1 or shortly after to what they are by the end of season 3. So I like seeing that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, the other thing about Tilly, we see her dealing with a problem on her own and breaking the rules to do it because she never tells anybody about Poe, which we have established is a almost required facet of command for Starfleet, of being able to break the rules and get through it without having a problem. So I just thought that was interesting.
She's just really good at covering her tracks that Poe was ever on the ship.
Yeah. And rabbits in the replicators.
That hormonal space rabbit.
Yeah. That's never explained either. She can go invisible, she makes the electronics go haywire, and the things on her back.
Well, in terms of how her species can do that, or...
Well, just why the replicators went haywire. It just seemed like
I think
walked in and it...
I think it has something to do with... I'm trying to remember, because it's not explained in the episode or anywhere in the show, but I think somebody, maybe it was one of the showrunners or writers, was saying that like there's an electromagnetic field that Sahians put out, and it can cause equipment like that to go haywire. Of course, nothing happened like that when she was on the ship in season 2, but
no,
maybe she'd learn to control it or something.
But in this episode here, like, yeah, they go haywire in the food room there, but then later on she also was able to do it when Tilly's reading up on her for that warrant. She shuts it off for her.
Oh yeah,
right.
she turns it off.
She shuts it off.
So so it's like something they can do willingly. So,
well, maybe she did that as a distraction to Tilly and then didn't get away.
Mm-hmm. Or part of the fear was just like, I just, based on rewatches, I just determined it was the fear factor, and it was just being like, exuded, I don't know the word, I'm sorry if I'm bad with English here, but like it was just like emanating from her body, and because it was being pushed out so much because she was in scared mode, it was just affecting things randomly, right? Whatever was nearby.
Yeah, maybe that makes sense. That she could push it out, or it happens when she's afraid of something, and when she's on in season 2, she's much more relaxed, like, hey guys, here to help.
And seriously in control of the situation, which is fun to watch. All right, well, I had one other thing I wanted to talk about here, and this is one that we have not gotten a good explanation about, so hopefully we will in the future. The people are the same, were born at the same time as the planet, right? Mm-hmm. It's her sister, it's all together, and so the first times I saw this, actually every time up till now that I've seen this, that like bothered me, but I couldn't figure out a way to explain it or a way to make it work. And then it occurred to me this time, I wonder if they are, if the planet was a terraformed planet by somebody else, and maybe her people were genetically engineered to function on that planet. And so you have the species and the planet happening at the same time. Maybe in a mythological sense, going back far enough. I know there's a lot of layers.
I guess it depends on how you take it, because one way to take it is, this is their belief system. They don't necessarily have any scientific evidence for it. Or it could be something that they do have, direct evidence for, and maybe it's how you said it, or maybe it's on more of like a symbolic level, because like in a certain way, you could say that, the elements that are necessary to make both our planet and us came from all of the gas coalescing in our solar system and creating, the sun and the disk of gas that become planets and asteroids and all of that. We do actually we have the same origin from all of that stuff, right? Maybe it means something like that. But yet, I really love it as an idea that they care so much because they consider it like a twin. But I'm not sure, like, how you would explain that, or what the reality is, if it's symbolic, mythological, or what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've just determined that it's like a faith-based belief, because but like Poe was really into it. She's like, it's my twin, right? This is my twin. And it's like, no, it's not. Based on what she's saying, it's not her twin. It's like all of their people's twin is what the belief is, right? But yeah, to me, it's just like something that you could have said, where there's something happened thousands of years ago, and this is how the mythology has developed, is it's turned into this belief that they came at the same time. And maybe it's because, I don't know, like their DNA elements are so close to the DNA elements of the planet or whatever. I don't know, but there's something about it that indicates why they're so close to them and why they have this belief.
Yeah. But I think regardless, I think it's really... I think it's a beautiful idea, because what it means is you will care more for the planet and the people on it, because you consider to have that close of a connection. It's not something that's that distant from you. It's like, about as close as you can get, which is, twins are genetically basically identical. So it's like saying we are the same. It's kind of a way of visualizing that and making sure you care for the people on the planet. I like it for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I just have to... Listeners know me by now. I have to try to explain everything. So.
Yeah, that's just how I've interpreted it. It is actually just a mythological belief. And even though she's forceful with it, right? Like, that's still just a belief. So that's how I've interpreted it.
All right, so that brings us to the last note that I had, which is that this is an incredibly thinly veiled climate change metaphor. Mm-hmm. But I think it does the job a lot better than the episode of Next Gen, the name of which is just escaping me.
Force of Nature. About
the Warp 5. Yeah, Thank you, Force of Nature. Yeah. Because as thinly veiled as it is, it's still it's more veiled than that was.
It's interesting you say it's thinly veiled because I haven't often thought of it in those terms.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I totally see it because she's talking about like they want to start mining this dilithium and it's hurting the planet and whatnot. And to me, I'm just like oil, know. So fossil fuels.
But I didn't see it as specifically climate change because it's something a little different. It's going for I see it as environmental destruction, but not that they're looking to, in some indirect way, talk about climate change. I think they're just talking about trying to use too much of a resource. But I think what they're also talking about is people's greed for something getting in the way of trying to take care of the planet.
Yes. In fact, she does say they get greedy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I think it also points to, I mean, it's not only the mining, but it's this technology that I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute for recrystallizing dilithium. That's like a big deal, and people want to take it or do with it what they will. And she feels very threatened by that. Yeah.
Yeah. And rightly so. Mm-hmm. All right. Brandon, you had something you wanted to...
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about one of these elements, okay? So, like, off the top of my head, because it's been a while since I've seen other episodes, I can't bring up something very specific. However, I have definitely felt this way about other mentions in modern Star Trek. And it's one thing that I kind of have a little problem with. So, and I think that this is something that a lot of fans of Star Trek have, like some people who are like me who have like, okay, there's certain things about Discovery that I don't like, and I'm sorry, I'm really walking around what I want to talk about here, but it's the topic of recrystallizing dilithium. So I question, why is it that they bring this up? Why do they talk about recrystallizing dilithium? Why do they bring up something that completely contradicts something that was already established in Star Trek? Because Scotty says in Star Trek 4, recrystallized dilithium, we can't even do that in the 23rd century. And here we are in the 22nd century with a character who can do that. And so these are questions that fans have and say, why are you making these comments? Why are you choosing recrystallized dilithium as something? Because now, what are you saying? If this is true and she can do this, is Scotty just no longer a good engineer that he just doesn't know this? Like, it calls into question characters that are already established and loved. So I just wanted to talk about this. They could have chosen anything, and they chose something that that specifically contradicts something that was brought up before.
Okay, I don't think it necessarily contradicts because we know that she seems to have this technology that can recrystallize dilithium, right? But we actually don't know the circumstances in which it works, how much it's been tested, any of that kind of stuff. So I think it is possible that even some years later, they still haven't figured out a way to perfect that. It only works on our planet for some reason. I think there's a lot of ways in which it doesn't necessarily contradict things, and I don't have an issue with it being in the episode. I think they wanted to have a connection, I think, to something like dilithium that would help with the knowledge that Poe would have for when she comes in season 2. Because I'm trying to remember, does some of that involve dilithium, the solution that she helps them to come up with? I'm trying to remember because it's been a while.
She did something with the time crystals, but I don't remember if dilithium was involved.
Anyway, I mean, I think it's one of those things that can have an explanation, like we do for things like this in the novels all the time. So it doesn't bother me, but why they choose this one specifically, I'm not sure. But I don't mind it. I think it works for me. So I feel like that's my answer to you a lot of times, Brandon. There can be another explanation. Works for me.
I'm with Justin on this one. The first time I watched this, I was like, wait, they can't recrystallize dilithium yet because Scotty doesn't know about it. But there's factors here that can be made, that can be manipulated to make it work. The first of which is that he is not part of the Federation. Mm-hmm. So it's entirely possible that she's like, no, I'm not sharing this technology. And then the Federation really can't do anything about that. You know? So that was the first thing that came to mind for me. The other is that their dilithium is blue. So maybe it's a different type of dilithium. Maybe theirs lends itself to recrystallization where the purple kind that we've seen elsewhere doesn't. So, and then by the time you get to the 24th century, they've figured out how to apply it across the board.
Okay, but no, it's interesting when you bring up these points, Brandon, and for the different perspectives.
Well, that's a good one.
But should we talk about the transporter at the end?
Sure.
Because we referenced it before.
Oh, that's true.
Because I know people have had a problem with that, but the way that I saw it was, Poe got onto Discovery somehow through some ship or cargo run or whatever. And what I thought was that ship or whatever that she had come from was still within range, and then Tilly was just going to transport her that one to take her back home. I don't think it's like going a huge distance necessarily.
Did they say how far they were from the planet? I don't know.
No, it wasn't mentioned.
She said
how
it's
far they were.
a long way.
It seemed like it was a long way away.
Did they?
But I'm saying like that if Poe had been part of some cargo run, and she's part of this like cargo container or something that she's in, maybe that thing is still in range. It was still offloading stuff to other ships or whatever, and Tilly just transported her back to this other ship, which was on its way back to Zahia or something like that. I think it's okay, but it does bring up that question.
If they said anything about the distance, I can't remember it. Like I literally just watched it again this afternoon. So if they said anything about the distance, I missed it. And I just assumed that they were like still in orbit of the planet, and like they were just bringing up supplies from the planet.
Yeah.
So and then she just beamed her back down to the planet. They just hadn't left yet. So I don't know.
I think Tilly says you're a long way from home, but that can be very relative.
Yeah, I got the feeling they weren't in orbit of Zahia because I'm not sure why they would be there at this point. Because I think this is supposed to be in the period of time, after the Klingon War ends, but before Discovery takes off again and then meets the Enterprise. It's in that kind of window of time.
So on their way to Vulcan?
Not on their way to Vulcan, because that is later, I think, when they when they
that's the thing about this. When you go back to season 2, it's like, when the hell does this episode take place? Because at the end of season 1, they are on their way to Vulcan, and then they meet up with the Enterprise, and then season 2 starts, and it's the adventure. Yeah,
but there is a gap, though, because at the end of the finale for season 1, the war ends, Burnham gives her speech and all of that, and then I think there is a relatively significant period of time of preparation and all of that before they take off and are supposed to go to Vulcan and get intercepted by the Enterprise on the way. I think there's probably a couple weeks time in there.
So without a captain, they had another mission where they went to Zahia to do a bunch of stuff.
No, I'm not saying they went to Zahia. I think they were probably still not far away from Earth.
Oh, then that's very long beaming.
Then that would be a long way, and so for me, it would make sense if you beam her back to whatever ship had taken her there. Yeah,
we know they had cargo loaded on. The cargo came from somewhere.
Yeah, it came from.
Whether
I
it's
think
a ship
it came from a ship
a base.
that's still in orbit, and off screen till he was able to find out which ship that was and how to get her back. So
who's going to take this woman home? We can't do
just beam her into another cargo hold somewhere. It'll be fine. But yeah, I think they're still on or well, not on, but I think they're near Earth when this happens. Yeah.
But Scotty and the what did he call it? The transport beaming.
Transport beaming.
09.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a Kelvin thing.
Yeah, well, but Spock knew it, so because Spock taught it to Kelvin Scotty.
He did, but we don't know how much further ahead in time that would have been.
Yeah, that's true.
Coming from 2387.
Well,
anyway.
That's why Chekhov is younger. That's your goal. There we go.
But anyway, I think it's been fun to talk about this episode. I'll be interested to see if our listeners take the 15 minutes to go back and rewatch it and let us know what they think now, having a couple seasons of Discovery and 9 more short treks in between.
Well, if they're willing to listen to this 45 minutes of us talking about it, I imagine 15 is going to be just fine.
Yes. We've kept this podcast under 2 hours just so you can go and...
What? I still got at least an hour and 15 minutes worth of stuff to talk about here.
All right. You start, and then we'll come back.
Save it for Calypso.
Anything else we want to talk about with Runaway?
No, I'm good. I think it was just great to come back to this. I really enjoy it, and it was fun just taking 15 minutes to watch it. Yeah,
it was. I hadn't seen it in a while, and it was nice to come back to it. All right. Well, Justin, where can people find you when you're not Googling the ingredients in Spumoni ice cream?
Well, when I'm not recrystallizing dilithium right on my desk here, because it's so easy. When I'm not doing that.
That's better.
That's okay. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at TrekFan4747, where I tweet about nothing but Star Trek. And you can find me hanging around our Facebook group, Federation Council Chambers, and hope you'll join us there to discuss this episode.
And Brandon, where can people find you when you're not calculating the amount of time between one episode and another?
You can find me on Twitter at Brandon Matella. You can find me here on the network with a show called Franchise Fatigue, which is all about movies, remakes, and sequels. And if Justin and I make our schedule, then this Wednesday we should have our RoboCop episode for you. We're running behind because of my recent work schedule, but we're supposed to be recording tomorrow night.
I don't think I'm on that episode. You said Justin.
I meant Zach.
We're interchangeable.
Yes, I meant Zach. I'm sorry.
Just figured it was a different Justin.
I was like, wait a minute. Are you inviting me to something I didn't know
You're
about?
watching RoboCop, buddy. Also, this week is our last episode of our Christopher Nolan retrospective over on the Nerd Party Network on House Lights. That'll be my last episode joining them for the foreseeable future. And then Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast is my other show that I do with Chris and Tom, and that's a lot of fun. And our next month's episode's on Dial M for Murder, so that's one of his best episodes. So definitely, or best movies. So check that one out. So, Chrissy, where can you be found when you're not renaming your show Ancient Aliens as BS?
All right. Well, you can find me in the threads for episodes in the Federation Council Chamber on Facebook, and for episodes of other shows as well. And I'm on Twitter at the Goddess Livia. That's TheGoddessLivia, where I tweet about Star Trek history and leftist politics. And you can also follow my work in history by liking the Facebook page. My fellow historian partner Jason and I run History with the Szilagys, and Szilagyi is spelled Szilagys.
Why don't you
there
call
we post
it
interesting history stories?
Why don't you change your Twitter handle to the Goddess Chrisvia?
Because I never thought of that, and I'm not going to. Livia was...
I know, you've told me.
She was deified.
Me, yes.
Yeah, no, that goes back to the first time I read I, Claudius when I was like 19, so yeah. Anyway, so follow us, History with the Szilagys on Facebook, and yes.
Well, thank you for listening to the show, and if you want to check out some more great podcasts here on the United Federation of Podcast Network, take a look at, as I mentioned, Franchise Fatigue, where Zach and I cover movies, remakes, and sequels. Tony Robinson has Trek Pod, where he gets interviews people that have been involved in the making of Star Trek. Ken Tripp, Abby Ambrose, and Travis Kreisman have General Quarters, which is a military-focused podcast. Amy Nelson and Patrick Delvelin, not Patrick Stewart. Oh my goodness.
Stewart.
Cover all good things. And they're covering all of the Star Trek universe. And then over on Galaxy Class, Amy, Rhea, Kevin, and Joe discuss only TNG. And then we also have Mickey's Marvels, where Chris Tribuzio, Patrick Devlin, and Casey Pettitt talk about all things Disney. And then Always Hold On to Arrow is our show that focuses on Arrow with Cavante Chillis and Lance Laster.
Thank you very much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to our executive producers, Ken Tripp, Tony Robinson, and Zach Moore. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music, and Tony Robinson for the awesome show art. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and please subscribe. UFP shows can be found anywhere fine podcasts are available.
You can also find them where you can find crappy podcasts, too. Because you can find podcasts all in the same place.
All podcasts are available. We like to feel like we're, in the higher echelon. But
that's one of those things that's been stuck in my head since I was a kid. Some commercial somewhere was like, you can find this wherever fine products are sold. And so now I just...
You can find it where terrible products are sold, too.
I don't remember what it was. So it makes you sound more important. We're more important than that. So, yeah. So find us where you find podcasts. Right. You know that because we're already here and you're listening to us, but tell other people. So, Oh, all right. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/UFPEarth. For as little as $3 each month, you can get early access to our episodes and maybe more importantly, feel good about supporting your favorite podcasters. If you'd like to reach out, we would love to hear from you. The network is on Twitter at UFPEarth, and our show specifically is at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the UFP podcasts in our Facebook group called the Federation Council Chambers. Or you can email us directly at infinitediversity@ufp.earth. On our next episode, we'll be talking about the short trek Calypso. Until then, peace and long life.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.
Going to be drinking from the fire hose pretty soon.
Yeah, and it's going to be good. I think Brandon's
I just
prediction
pictured
of
UHF right there. You get a drink from the fire hose.
I love that movie. It's hilarious.
That's a deep cut. I haven't seen that in a long time. And
I saw it. Well, we're going way off course, of course, but I saw it like a year. I hadn't seen it in a long time. I saw it a year or two ago. It's such a hilarious
It's so
movie.
good.
And
so
I wish the part where they have like the TV schedule and all the crazy stuff that's coming, that could be the whole movie and I would die.
Gandhi
Anyway.
2. No more Mr. Passive Resistance. He's out to kick some butt.
It's so great. But we're here to talk about Star Trek.
I can
not
connect
a Weird
that
Al movie.
into the next episode. Those were probably in the files with Betty Boop and everything, and he just didn't watch that. He watched Betty Boop instead, so there we go.
Instead of UHF. I watched UHF for 200 hours straight. Anyway.
Right, so let's talk
Chrissy,
Runaway.
you're supposed to be hosting. Rein us in here. It's okay.
This happens in my classes, too. My students will ask a question, and then half an hour later, I'm like, wait, what were we talking about? Rome? What? But I can bring it back. Runaway, right.
And if Justin and I make our schedule, then this Wednesday we should have our RoboCop episode for you. We're running behind because of my recent work schedule, but we're supposed to be recording tomorrow night.
I don't think I'm on that episode. You said Justin.
I meant Zach. I meant Zach.
We're interchangeable.
Yes, I meant Zach. I'm sorry.
Just figured it was a different Justin.
I was like, wait a minute. Are you inviting me to something I didn't know
You're
about?
watching RoboCop, buddy. You thought Logan was violent? Wait till you get traumatized by this.
You know what? It's funny, but I loved RoboCop when I was a kid, but I'd probably find it too violent now. What does that say about
Well,
me?
I mean, there was a cartoon.
violence
there
more
was a
now.
RoboCop cartoon, right? So for kids,
I didn't watch the
There
cartoon.
was?
I watched
there was a
the movie.
Rambo cartoon
Wow.
too. So
There's a cartoon of everything, I think, in the 80s.
yeah, toys.
Well,
and
I guess that Rainbow cartoon,
tie-ins for
G.I.
kids.
Joe, I guess that works.
Look, there was all kinds
Yeah.
of interesting. There was a Jackson 5 cartoon in the 60s and the 70s.
yeah, but that's
okay?
understandable.
So, like,
that's understandable.
It's still weird. If you watch it, it's still weird.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's like the monkeys
sorry,
having a
keep-
television show.
keep
It's
going.
all good.
Also.